guys, it's Karen, and this video is for my ladies and gents that are having any bladder issues. I have had bladder issues. I mean, I've had bladder issues since I was a teenager, actually, with constant infections and whatnot, but things got really bad and I suffered a lot in my 30s, I would say. I regularly take pumpkin seed oil and have done for years, and I've talked about that on this channel because I found there was a study on it and it really helps me. So I'll link that video in case you haven't seen it. Then more recently, I have seen this supplement called Jude advertised everywhere. And I don't know whether it's just because of my algorithm, you know, or because I looked at it once and now it's literally popping up every time I go on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. Not that I go on there very often, but it seems to be everywhere, but different people talking about it, you know. It's constant. So it's a popular one and it seems to work. I have found a dupe for it in these. This is called Bladder Support, and I wanted to compare the two. I take pumpkin seed oil. These are made with pumpkin seed extract, and there are studies in both. They're different things, but there are studies in pumpkin seed oil and pumpkin seed extract. Could you just get the benefits by eating pumpkin seeds? Probably, because you'd get the oil and the extracts, you know. But this has also got an additional ingredient in. So I'm going to compare the two. I'm going to compare price, ingredients, tell you the differences, tell you the reviews, and tell you how I've got on with this supplement. I've been taking it for nearly 3 weeks now, and also tell you which one I would recommend. Okay, I've got my notes, but I am going to try and summarize, of course. So let me talk about the price first. The Jude supplements are £36 for 60 capsules, and this one, which is Zipvit, yeah, Bladder Support, is £15 for 60 capsules, and they're both the same dosage. They say that they're a 4-week supply, but actually when you start, you're supposed to take 3, I think, for the first week. So they're actually both a 21-day supply. So this is less than half the price of Jude. So £15 versus Jude, which is £36. So that's fine. I ordered it and thought, well, I could see that it's got pumpkin seed and soy germ extract in it. So the two major ingredients in the Jude one are pumpkin seed extract and soy germ extract. And I thought, but maybe the levels are a lot different. Maybe this one, you know, maybe you need to take more of these to get the same effect, and therefore the cost will balance out, or maybe these aren't as strong and therefore not as effective. So let's have a look at that. So in the Jude supplements, there is pumpkin seed extract, red colouring, maltodextrin, soy germ, bulking agent, and anti-caking agent. And there is, I've put PSE here and I don't even know what that means. Oh, pumpkin seed extract. I was thinking, what have I abbreviated? The pumpkin seed extract in the Jude is 270 milligrams, and the soy germ extract is 38.6 milligrams. So onto the Zipvit, there is pumpkin seed extract, soy germ, bulking agent. Then there's also vitamin D3, vitamin B6, and zinc. So there's some added vitamins and minerals. In this, there is also 270 milligrams of the pumpkin seed extract. So a great start. There's exactly the same amount of the pumpkin seed extract. Soy, there is also 38.6 milligrams of the soy germ extract. So again, the same two active ingredients. These are the kind of magic ingredients that you want at exactly the same levels. So perfect. And this one has actually got added vitamins in. The one other thing I noticed about these ingredients that I thought was interesting is that the Jude supplement has the maltodextrin in it. And that's not an ingredient I would like to have in anything. It's something I would like to avoid. I've not yet got to the point of reading ingredients on everything I use, but that is one of those that is just, it can cause GI issues, and it's just not a great ingredient. And I know a lot of people are trying to avoid it. So from that point of view, already this is half the price and doesn't have maltodextrin in it, but has the same magic ingredients. So let me briefly tell you about my issues, if I can be brief. It's so complex, but what I have now is nothing compared to what I had. I had a lot of pain, a lot of stinging, not just going to the toilet, but all of the time. I had stinging and pain in my stomach I have interstitial cystitis, so painful bladder syndrome it's now called. And overactive bladder syndrome as well. So I had never had any problems with leaking. I went through a whole, I can't remember what they call it, but a certain type of study, a bladder study, where I had you know, they filled it up and then I had to sit and wee, and they measured all the volumes and how much it could hold and all of that. And I had no problems with any kind of leaking, thankfully. But I just had problems with pain. Pain was my biggest thing. Pain and urgency. What I have noticed with the menopause or the perimenopause, I'm told by the GP, it still is at the minute perimenopause, even though I'm 52, for goodness sake, is that I go to the loo a lot more often, and I'm up more in the night. I hadn't noticed leaks particularly. That's not quite true, actually. Over the last 2 or 3 years, I would say I've noticed little leaks when I sneeze, cough, the usual kind of suspects, you know, that kind of thing, a tiny little amount. But I had noticed in the last probably 6 months to a year, a little bit more in the way of leaking. But in terms of, it wasn't necessarily when I coughed or sneezed or whatever, it was just random, which was quite unnerving actually, because, you know, it happens, and thankfully it's happened either at home or when I've been out on a local walk with Watson, and so I've been able to quickly get home and get changed and whatnot, and it's never been of an amount that's would have shown through clothes or anything like that. Again, thankfully, it's probably, you know, not even a teaspoonful. Sorry to be so graphic, but obviously this is useful information to some people as to what solutions, if any, I've found from this. It would only happen once every couple of weeks, if that. Once every 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. So it isn't something that's happening a lot for me, and it isn't stopping my life, but it always worries me, because I think if this gets any more or any worse, or it happens when I'm not near to home, then it is going to be uncomfortable. Yes, that's where I'm at. And I also get up a lot during the night. I get up probably, not a lot actually, compared to what I used to when I had this really bad IC pain, but I get up once or twice in the night to go for a wee, and I've noticed that increasing in the last few months. So on to the claims for these. For the Jude supplement, the claims are that you have 66% fewer daily leaks, which is great, 70% fewer night leaks. I don't have any night leaks, and I should say that although I have urgency, meaning that I'm desperate to go for a wee, I always used to think that was quite obvious. Urgency is you're desperate to go for a wee. But when I saw the specialist, they were like, there's different types of urgencies. There's urgency that I have, which is, like she says, what happens if you can't get to the loo? And I'm like, nothing, it's just really painful. So that's one type of urgency, but I don't wee myself. There's another type of urgency where you need to get to the toilet, otherwise you're going to wee yourself, and you know that. When I'm having these little leaks that I'm talking about, there's no feeling of needing to go to the bathroom, which is why it's so terrifying. So 70% fewer night leaks for those of you that suffer with those, 66% fewer daily leaks, which is great, means that it is quite effective. It says it will relieve the need to go urgency. You'll sleep through the night and get a stronger bladder. So that's the claims with the Jude one, which is great. Sounds wonderful. These are less, on the Zipvit, it's less specific. It says that it works to help the brain and bladder communicate more smoothly. It helps with muscle contraction and causes stronger bladder muscles, and it helps you go less. It doesn't give any specific percentages, but they're both saying the same kind of thing. It's going to help you go less, it's going to make your bladder stronger, and that's what you want. Okay, so I read the reviews on the Zipvit and also on the Jude. The Zipvit, it's quite hard to say that, isn't it? Zipvit. The Zipvit on Amazon. I looked at them both on Amazon, because then you're kind of comparing like for like. Looking at the Jude website, obviously they're mostly going to be good. 53% gave it a 5-star. This is Zipvit on Amazon, and the comments were that they were not going as often. One negative comment was that it gave this woman gas. There weren't many comments saying that though. There was somebody saying that it was an absolute game changer. This is vegan, and people love that it's vegan. Somebody said specifically that it's better than Jude, that Jude didn't work for her, but these did, which is great. And a couple of people said that they'd had no nighttime peeing since taking the Zipvit. So that's the Zipvit, 53% 5-star reviews. The Jude has 51% 5-star reviews, so only a little bit less. And people said they had less bathroom visits, that it worked within days. Their constant urge to go disappeared. However, some people said they had stomach pain, People said they had less urgency and less leaking. But there were 2 reviews that said they had very bad heartburn and constipation. I personally haven't had any side effects at all, but I'm going to talk to you now about my experience with this and who I recommend, which one I recommend. So what I've said is no side effects for me. I have had no heartburn, no constipation. The heartburn I would definitely notice because I'm actually trying to reduce my lansoprazole. I reduce it sometimes, then go back up again, but I'm only taking it every other day at the moment, and so I would really notice if I had heartburn. But I've had no indigestion at all, no digestive issues at all, no side effects, no stomach pain. Somebody else had mentioned stomach pain. Same capsule size, I should say. It looks to be the same capsule size. Obviously, there's no way of knowing that because I don't have the Jude ones, but this, I haven't showed you it, have I? It's about the size of a paracetamol, I would say. Paracetamol capsule. Maybe a little bit bigger, but not much. I can show you against my finger there. So it's an easy enough tablet to swallow. I can't swallow tablets, have taken with food, but it's easy enough. Yeah, I've said no leaks, but bearing in mind I've taken this for 2.5 weeks. Nearly 3 weeks actually, a little bit more than 2.5 weeks, and I have had no leaking incidents other than a very, very small one yesterday, like a couple of drops, and it was literally just me walking in here and sitting down, and I was like, you know, how does that happen just from sitting down? But apart from that, no leaks, but it has only been nearly 3 weeks, and as I said to you, it only happens to me every 2 to 3 weeks, so I can't give too much credit to these on that. And I am also trying to do only a little bit, but I'm trying to do my bladder retraining. I know that bladder retraining helps, which is just, you know, doing your pelvic floor exercises when you remember. But for me, it works a lot if you do it when you're on the toilet, because you know that it's working, because you just stop the flow of pee, and then you're using the right muscles, and you can just keep on doing that. Yeah, I've said less urgency, but bladder training. So I've definitely had less urgency. I've been going, or less urgency and less visits, not as many bathroom visits, I don't feel like. But like I said, I am doing the bladder training, which also means that when you need to go, hold it for as long as you can, which was the very thing that you were told not to do as a child, wasn't it? The biggest thing for me has been less nighttime wheeze. That's where I've noticed the biggest difference, because it was really disturbing my sleep. Because I'm struggling with this insomnia from the menopause, it means that I wake up at sort of 2-3 o'clock and struggle to get back to sleep again. If I also then need to get up and go for a wee, that's me like wide awake, you know, so it's better that I don't need to get up. And I sometimes try and hold it, you know, but then I'm just uncomfortable for hours and think I wish I'd have gone sooner, you know, I'm going to have to get up and go. But if I'm a little bit tired, I'm like, if I get up and go for a wee now, it's going to wake me up, you know. But I've noticed less of that, definitely. I did get up last night at 3 o'clock and managed to sort of get back to sleep again, but I just got up once. But the few nights before that, I hadn't got up at all. So that's definitely been improved. That's really all I can say for me just now. Like I said, I don't feel like I've been taking it for long enough to comment too much. And also I should say that when you get this, you're supposed to take it 3 times a day. I decided not to do that. This video isn't just all about my experience, because I understand that I'm not as sort of advanced with my issues as a lot of people are that want to take these supplements. But just to me, to take it at lunchtime is just one extra pill that I don't need when I'm taking all these gabapentin tablets at the moment. But also I'm already taking pumpkin seed oil. So what I've done is I'm taking my pumpkin seed oil tablet at lunchtime, and I am taking one of these in the morning and one at night. I should mention that I had a little bit of stinging this morning or yesterday. Can't remember. I think it was this morning when I was sitting watching TV, I felt a little bit of stinging, and that's really unusual for me. So I'm going to keep a very close eye on that, because I haven't had that. I rarely get it nowadays, and that used to be my kind of pain signal or pain problem. So down to which one I'd recommend, and I would 100% recommend the Zipvit for 2 major reasons. One, they are cheaper. I mean, they're less than half the price, £15 versus £36 for exactly the same ingredients. I would love to see what Jude said about the price difference in that. I don't think many people have realised this is the only one I could find. There wasn't a lot, but I found this one. And I don't think people will realise there is another product with the same ingredients in and the same dose. Now, how trustworthy the companies are, you don't know. You know, one is getting a lot more attention, the Jude one, because they've been on the Dragon's Den. But there doesn't seem to be, you know, you can't compare the companies. Maybe you could with a lot of research and find out is there doctors behind both of them are there, you know, what sort of experts are there on the panels, and what do the factories look like and the labs look like that they produce them in, you know, but that's not really information I can find out. But from what I can see, people trust this brand, this Zipvit. I've had supplements from them before and trust them. So I have no issues with that. So yeah, exactly the same ingredients, but less than half the price. The other thing is the fact that this has no maltodextrin in it. That is a really, really big thing, because, you know, there's so many ingredients they're recommending we avoid just now. If you can get the ingredients you want without that extra nuisance one, much better. And the final thing for me is that there's actually some added vitamins in here, and they're ones that you may need to be a little bit careful about. The B6 should be fine. You've got B6 in there, you've got D3, which is great, and zinc. I wouldn't also take a zinc supplement, if you know what I mean. Make sure you're not getting too much zinc from anywhere. But, you know, B vitamins are just water soluble and they just pass through your system. And D3, most people aren't taking enough anyway, and there's only 2.5 micrograms in here, so it's not much. But yeah, 100% I would recommend this. Let me know if you want me to come back in, I don't know how long, and give you an update. I think a couple of comments on the Jude ones were that they hadn't noticed any difference, but that it says it takes 4 weeks to notice a difference. And they weren't prepared to pay another £36 to get another bottle, because for them it only lasted 21 days because they were following the instructions. I don't know whether you want that update from me, knowing that I haven't done the 3 a day to begin with. You know, like I said, I think it's for the first week, you're supposed to take 3 a day just to get your levels up. But like I said, I'm already taking pumpkin seed oil and doing a bit of bladder training. So let me know. And if you do, I will put it in my diary and come back to you and tell you what I think. And I'm definitely going to finish this bottle. And if I see any effect, I will go and buy some more of this. I am tempted to try the Jude just to see if there was any difference, you know. That's everything for today. I hope that that was useful. Let me know if you have tried pumpkin seed oil, because I've been going on about it for a couple of years, haven't I, how useful it is. And there are, I'll link the studies that there are on, the studies on pumpkin seed oil for bladder issues, the studies on soy germ extract, on pumpkin seed extract. So I'll link the studies in the description, and I will speak to you again soon.